Well, Dad worked hard. The thing about my father was that he had a regular, what we call a regular job. And the things that you and I talked about, maybe I didn't explain it clear, but he had so many other different responsibilities in raising his family. And then it took me a long time to realize the position my father had in our overall family. So that was an awakening.
Since becoming a father and before?
Well, we want to go back before, my dad, I want to say he instilled tough love. He wasn't the most like, I love you type, a loving father, but you knew he loved you. I mean, just based on things he did, he was always reliable. He still is reliable with advice and things of that nature. When I say tough love, like I said, my dad wasn't the one to say I love you, things like that. And he always talked about being tough. And even as a young male, that's some things that, like I guess sometimes he would call me soft. I mean, because I went to private schools and stuff like that. He thought, based on because I grew up on the west side of Chicago too. He thought, my mother babied me a little bit too much, but that wasn't the case. I mean, that was something we had a gripe about, and we talked about it. And I think, as a father, my dad's now a grandfather. He has 9 grandchildren, so I think it softened him up. And so I think we have those talks, and he's like, he tells me all the time, you got to tell your daughters you love them. You got to take them on dates and stuff like this. And these are the things that he didn't do for my sisters and things of that nature. I mean, he gave us everything we needed, and it was really instilled family values. But I don't know if it was his upbringing that which made him like so hardened. I don't want to say he's hardened, but like as a youth he was a little bit hardened. But I think now he has a soft structure around himself, and he's very like always wants to be around his grandchildren and supports them and things of that nature. So
that's really cool.
Me and my father, we real cordial with one another. I didn't think we had when I was younger, I didn't think that we had a great relationship. He's very strict, and sometimes unnecessarily. But one thing he did, when I was graduating high school, we went to Israel, and he just took me with him to Israel, and we had a solid 10 days, and I feel like that's the first time where I actually had a conversation with him.
So I think I try to overcompensate for that and make sure that I'm involved in everything, and make sure that I'm there and they know that I'm there to support them, not just financially, but with whatever they're doing. And having 2 girls and a wife, someone's always crying about something, someone's always mad at you. And it's going to get worse as they get older. But I think it's like you said, you don't want to be too familiar. I think we are too familiar. And, they used to have that saying, children should be seen and not heard, right? I don't believe in that, because I think when children become adults, they can't express themselves because they're used to being told to be quiet, stay out of grown folks' business, that type of thing. So with my children, I try to make sure, they're involved in decision making of certain things, even like what high school do they want to go to. We live in a district where the high school isn't too good, so let them, kind of be involved in the high school process of what high school they think they should go to. And when my daughter was going to college, she made a spreadsheet of all the colleges she liked, the pros and cons, because she had been used to being in a decision-making process through her life decisions. At the end, we're going to have influence over the final say-so, but I want you to put together some stuff and come to me, talk about why you want to do this versus that. So I think we are too familiar with ourselves. And my daughter's a psychology major. She's always trying to tell me what's wrong with me and ask me about my therapy and what did the lady say about this. So, yeah, we're where you don't want to be. But one's 19 and one's about to turn 17, so they're transitioning to adulthood. So
We grew grew up, it was 9 of us. Same apartment with mom and dad and a first cousin from Mississippi. That was our household. So everybody had a regiment. We had a job to do. You took care of your responsibilities. And it took me until probably late into my 40s before I really started to understand my father.
You know, some of his shortcomings, like I should have done some of those things and a little bit more. And so I try to do that every step of the way for my daughters, making sure that I'm at everything they do and putting them in things that I wasn't involved in and didn't see as a youth.
Okay. What's funny is I actually need to meet your dad because I used to drop you off to your crib.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be late at night. I drop you off. But no, that's funny. We gotta meet that. But I guess the same for you.
This is an interesting question because I'm around my kids a lot, and we do a lot of things together. And there's a lot of things that I used to do, you know, with my dad, with the rest of my siblings, you know, I could take off and drive to another state in a minute, you know, like we'll just go somewhere. So we do a lot of road trips and things of that nature. I do a lot of sports, so my son is now in soccer. I dance a lot with my daughter. You know, we're just around each other a lot.
It's food midnight.
Nah, I mean, I just want to thank you for even having this, man. This was really great. Just hearing even from your stories, and your stories. I mean, these are things that I can impart in my family. Just, you know, I really enjoyed this experience. And you guys share your stories as well. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate Jeremy to have the forethought to raise our consciousness. It's a battle,